Good evening. Welcome to tonight's meeting of the Nashua Board of Education's Human Resources Committee at Nashua High School Boardroom. It is September 29th at 5:36, and I am calling this meeting to order. Ms. Raymond, could you take the roll call?
Sure, thank you. Ms. Gilio?
Here.
Mr. Johnson?
Here.
Ms. Raymond is here. We also have some guests. We have Ms. Lampier. We have Ms.
Here.
Bishop. Ms. Lopez is in the audience, but she's not. You can join us if you want. We have Dr. Andrade, we have Mr. Baus, and we have Mr. Gray.
Okay, so Mr. Baus, would you share the HR update with us?
Certainly. So the job openings total for today, 9/29, comes up to 65 and a half. That is up about, I believe it was 3 positions from last time. I believe we reported 62 2 weeks ago. Not teacher vacancies or anything, it's really other positions. We added a couple, which I'll review in just a sec. But teacher vacancies were up to 22 and a half, 9 at the elementary level, 8 at the middle school level, and 5 and a half at the high school level. We're looking for 4 more school psychologists, 5 more speech language pathologists. We're still kind of working on the para numbers, but I believe we are relatively staffed for the paras, including contractors and our own. But I'll be able to work on getting you final numbers within the next month or so. Food service, we have 8 openings. Again, I reiterated it last week, but this is the first time since I've been here that we've seen that in single digits. So I think the new contract helped with that a lot. Plant operations, we have a total of 21. If you break it down, we have 3 custodians, 17 crossing guards, and 1 security guard/monitor that we're looking for. Admin, we have 4 openings. We are still looking for an out-of-district coordinator. We added a junior district accountant. We added a digital learning support specialist, and we're looking for the welcome center manager. And then we have one, I say clerical, but it's not really a clerical position, which is the ELL admin assistant. So those are the current openings.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? No, thank you very much, Mr. Baus. I believe this is going to be a fairly short meeting tonight. We have all received the personnel recommendations dated September 29th, 2025. We have 1 retirement, 1 leave of absence, and then we have 5 nominations for new hires. So I'm looking for a motion to accept that.
I have a question, but I don't know if it needs to go in non-public or not. It's about one of the nominations.
I don't know your question to give your advice.
My question is about the financing for one of the positions, number 3 on the list, about whether or not that is a full district operating cost or if there is a shared financing. That's part 1. And part 2 is the other person that I'm aware of that was in that role or leading that role. Are they still here?
No, so we actually, we have 2 new ROTC instructors this year. One we've had for a while that just resigned last school year. So the 2 that we do have this year that are active are both brand new this year.
Oh, I didn't realize the one we had lost one. That's sad. The funding. So is that all us, or since we were saying it's JROTC, does the Air Force cover part of that?
They do split it.
Great.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Okay.
No, it's a good program. I hope it continues in the same vein it has.
Did we have a second on that?
Oh, sorry. I'll make the motion.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I will second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We do not have any administrative recommendations for tonight, so I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Oh, second. Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. We are adjourned at 5:41. Great.
Thank you.
Fast.
Okay. All right, everybody, welcome. I am calling this Board of Education meeting to order. It is September 29th, 2025, and it is 6:01 PM. We're in the Nashua North Boardroom, and Ms. Lampier, can you do the roll call? And then after the opening statement, Mr. Johnson, can you lead us in the pledge? You made eye contact with me. You know the role.
Okay, Ms. Darling? Here. Hey, I'm here. Ms. Raymond?
Here.
Ms. Prin?
Here.
Mr. Claffey is not here tonight. Mr. Johnson?
Here.
Ms. Lopez?
Here.
Okay. Ms. Gilio?
Here.
And Ms. Bishop?
Here.
Okay, and we also have Dr. Andrade, Mr. Posca, Dr. Scarpati, and Mr. Gray. Our student reps aren't here yet, but they might come in at some point. Okay, and as elected officials, we have the high honor and the serious duty of managing the educational institutions of our beloved city. In our common endeavors, may we find a spirit of unity and understanding which will enable us to face our multiple problems with an objective mind, with justice and charity for all, so that any and all decisions made by us will be for the betterment and greater happiness of all of our fellow citizens. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So we have a presentation up tonight, and you guys are first, our Franklin Street Preschool. Hello, Caitlin.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. It's nice to see you in our little boardroom.
No, it's nice to see you.
Make sure your mic is on, though.
You can
Turn that on. All right, thank you for having us, and that we're up first. So this is our second curriculum showcase as part of our curriculum committee work, with the purpose of highlighting some of the great work that's happening in our district. So we have Caitlin Burns here, program coordinator for Franklin Street, to share a presentation about some of our youngest learners in her presentation on our early education program. So Caitlin, take it away.
Okay, so it's the Nashua Early Education Program. So we do serve children ages 3 to 5. Is this loud enough? It is an inclusive program, so we do have predominantly children with special education needs, and then we do have what we consider play pals. So it's about an 80-20 ratio. And then we focus on early learning, that learning to learn how to be a student. And then we do have 3 paraeducators in each classroom at Franklin Street and in the Signs of Learning preschool program. So students can be identified through referrals, and then we have the evaluations to determine if they are eligible. And then we have typically developing peers created integrated classrooms. And then our PlayPal current wait list is 15 children. And most of those are 4-year-olds. I think we do have actually a couple of 3-year-old spots open right now. We do have half-day sessions. So I just have just pictures of what a schedule could look like. So arrival time, circle time, hand washing, book look, whole class movement breaks, center activities, cleanup, class yoga, packing the backpacks, heading outside, recess, and then transition to the late room for dismissal. So we have 2 floors at Franklin Street. So the second floor will go down and merge with the first floor classrooms so that it's closer for them to leave the building at the end of the day. So otherwise, dismissal would take a lot longer than it does already. And then the students come Monday through Thursdays. And then, so we have 14 classrooms at Franklin Street. So there's an AM class and a PM session. And then Signs of Learning only has the AM sessions. And then we are allowed 5 spots in each Purple Panther classroom. So, they go 2 days a week to Purple Panthers. So we have the early threes, which we do consider an learning to learn program. So those children come 2 days a week for 2.5 hours, either in the AM or the PM session. And then threes come 4 days a week for the AM, and the fours come 4 days a week for the PM. And then the play pals only come, who are the typically developing students, those children come 3 days a week. So Mondays are focused on just the students with IEPs so that we can work on their goals. And Signs of Learning has just the AM session with integrated 3s and 4-year-olds. And then Purple Panthers has the 2 days a week for 4.5 hours, so it is a longer day. And they have predominantly students that are typically developing, and so with 5 identified students in each. And then we do have a drop-in speech service, and those children just come as they would to an appointment. And then for the AM session, so this is between Franklin Street and the Signs of Learning, there's 117 students, and 36 of those are play pals. And then the PM session right now is 118 with 30 play pals. And then the early threes has about 25 students right now. We do enroll throughout the year. So when a student is eligible for special ed services, when they turn the age of 3, we do have 3 classrooms that support those children. And right now we only have 6 drop-in students, but that tends to grow to about 15 by the end of the school year. So the curriculum is research-based, play-centered. So we do early literacy and language, social emotional development, early math and science. We also work on fine and gross motor skills, and then individualized instruction. And those are all aligned with the New Hampshire Early Learning Standards. And then, so it's very tiny, so I have to look at this over here. We do have handwriting without tears. So that teaches the children how to create.
Thank you. We were ambitious tonight with
Yeah, so Handwriting Without Tears is a program that teaches students how to form the letters appropriately, and it gives them the proper language to use. It starts with a mat man, so it's wooden pieces that you do like long, the long, whatever, what is it called? I'm just drawing a blank. So, and then it has curved lines and straight lines, that's what it is. So there's big and little, and then it helps you form the letters. And then we do Foundations in Hegarty. And Eureka Math, there is a preschool curriculum that we use. We also expose the children to Little Spots, which just helps them understand emotions. And then primarily we learn through play. So there's activities embedded throughout all of their center time. We're practicing counting and color sorting and naming colors and things like that. And then we do have children with IEPs. Well, actually, everyone benefits from speech because we do have the speech pathologists do a language group within the classroom. So even the students that don't have IEPs are able to sit in those language groups. And then if a child needs OT or PT, and then we do have the hearing. So we have a teacher of the deaf over at the Signs of Learning program. And then vision, we do have vision teachers that will come over and provide services when needed. And then we do have access to behavior specialists when needed as well. We're just looking to prepare the children to be successful in kindergarten and into the future of their educational journey. Have any questions for me?
Ms. Bryn?
My heart is in preschool. That's where I spent my formative teaching years is working in preschool, so I have lots of questions. My first one where it's, I gotta find the right page now. For the Purple Panther preschool, it says that kids attend is that 4.5 hours total a week, or is that 4.5 hours a day, 2 days a week?
That's 4.5 hours a day, 2 days a week.
Okay.
So they have a Monday, Wednesday session and Tuesday, Thursday.
Are those for kids who have more intensive needs? Because my next follow-up question is do we have a program for pre-Ks for kids who need more intense needs?
So that is for the children with the moderate needs because it is part of the lab school, so they work with the students in the high school. But we do have, we try to stay as integrated as possible, but we do have one classroom that does work with the students with higher needs.
Ms. Darling?
Do we have any wraparound services for the family? I know you say you support the whole child academically, socially, emotionally. That to me would also include whole family. Do you do any parent support or help with resources?
So we do, usually it's when the parent asks for the resources, to be honest, but we do have opportunities to help them. We actually are doing we do family events throughout the year. We're doing a little like Halloween event so we're practicing like a sensory-friendly Halloween where they can come in and with their parents on a Friday afternoon and just go to practice going door to door before Halloween actually comes. So we try to do and we do play groups throughout the year so that we can, show them what we do in the classroom and how their children are engaged with other children their own age.
I love that.
Ms. Bryn?
Sorry, I told you I had
then
lots
Ms.
of
Lamphere.
questions. Sorry. So I just say I'm a parent with a child who's turning 3, and I have concerns. Do we offer screenings for the public? Because I see that it says that it's identified special needs through referral and evaluation. How does that happen?
So anyone with knowledge of a student can refer to the program. So parents refer often. We also have pediatricians' offices that will call, schools will call that have concerns with the students that they have.
Do we offer screenings to the public at all?
So we don't do a child find event just because we are we have a good relationship with everyone in the community, so they do refer often, like the doctor's offices will refer, but we can screen anyone technically. We do start with a referral meeting, and we just have the parents fill out a form at home, and then they send it to me, and I send it to the teachers that will be doing the referral meeting with them, giving a little background information, what the areas of concern are, and then we go from there to determine if there is a need to move forward with evaluations. And we also tell the parents that the doors never close, so if we don't move forward with evaluations and then, 3 months from now they don't see progress, then come back and we'll take another look and see what's happening.
Okay, thank you.
Lamphere, Ms. Lamphere, and then Ms. Raymond.
Do we have to turn away any kids with disabilities to the preschool program?
Nope.
That's good, considering that the special education population is growing. What does the schedule for the 2.5-hour day for the early 3s look like? And when do they move to the regular 3 classroom?
So so we follow the same school year. So they start with the early 3s October 1st throughout the rest of the year. So we've had children start June 1st in the early 3s program and just have the last 2 weeks of school.
Oh, so they enter as soon as they turn 3? But when do they move into the regular 3 classroom?
The following year, so when they are eligible to move through the grades.
But I thought kids with disabilities were eligible as soon as they turn 3.
Yes, so we do accept any student that requires special education
And
at 3 years old.
And they go into the early 3s, not into the other program?
I think if I can just, it's to put them in the correct cohort group so that they line up for kindergarten. So if you turn 3, but then you might be 3 in that 3-year-old group for more than one academic year. I'm trying to think of what birthday would make sense for that. But say you turn 3 in April, you could start in early 3s, finish that school year. The next year, you would still be with the 3s for that whole school year. And then the next year with 4s so that you're lined up with your proper cohort for
The only thing is
kindergarten.
that if these kids have serious disabilities or even moderate disabilities, and they're only in school for 2.5 hours a day instead of 4, I mean, they're not really getting what they should, right?
So the only program that has the 4.5 hours is the Purple Panther program.
The other ones are 4?
The others are 2.5 hours for early 3s, 3s, and 4s.
I'm so sorry. I misunderstood. Thank you. Thank
No
you. Thank you
problem.
for clarifying. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Ms. Raymond?
Oh, thank you. I actually had a follow-up to the earlier question about screenings. So for parents or other people who want to refer their child for an evaluation, how long does that process take? Like, what's the lead time between when they, ask for an eval? How long does it take to get the evaluation? And then, like, how long is the actual evaluation?
So we have 15 business days to get them into a referral meeting. And then we do follow the same timeline, so the 60 days to do the evaluations. Typically we go for about 45 days because the parent does have 14 days to decide if they agree with the evaluations. And then once they consent, then we have 30 days to do the IEP.
Okay.
Do we get kids from early intervention programs too? Yes. So
Yeah.
sometimes they can transition directly from EI to the 3 or, okay.
Yeah, most of the early 3s do come from EI, but we do have some that are just outside referrals from parents or the doctor's offices.
I have another question too. Sorry.
I told you I had a lot. Do we offer summer services for kids too, especially kids that might be transitioning to kindergarten that might regress?
Yeah, so we do the same process as any special ed program in the district. We do the deliberation to see if a child qualifies for services.
Ms. Lopez?
I think that it's amazing, everything that you're doing over there at Franklin Street School. I think that it's awesome that they have speech and occupational therapy, physical therapy, hearing and vision teachers. Are you guys fully staffed over there?
We're getting there. So the early 3s team, they're still doing a lot of the evaluations, and students are coming to their birthdays, that October 1st birthday. So we are working. We just hired a handful of other paras, but we do always welcome more support. We do have a few openings still, so.
Okay. So thank you so much for that, because that's what my question was, because 3 per class seems like it's a lot when we're actively hiring paras. But I'm glad that they're doing well over there and having enough help and everything over to Franklin Street.
Preschool's a lot of fun. If anyone wants to come visit, come on over. Mrs. Giulio used to read to my class when I was teaching.
That was very rewarding. I was the long-term library sub at Birch Hill, and she was teaching a class, and I had extra time in my schedule, and I'm like, what will I do with myself? And I got to read to both of the preschool classes and absolutely loved it. And when I retire from the board, I'm going to go back and read again to them.
You're welcome anytime.
Great. I'd just like to thank Caitlin for preparing the presentation and answering those questions. It's certainly a very valuable program for our district. Not only does it make sure we're meeting all of the state and federal requirements regarding early special education needs, but also really provides that rich early foundation for students that we know is so important for their later success in school. So super important work. I appreciate you, Caitlin. And also Greg Warren is here as the principal of Franklin Street Brentwood. So So thank you for being here to support. We appreciate it. Thank you for all of your work.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for coming. That was lovely. Thank you so much. Okay, this brings us back to our boring business, not talking about cute little preschoolers. I'm looking for a motion to accept the consent agenda.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Raymond. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Still nay.
Okay.
And just so you guys know, it is so much easier to update yourself on months worth of board meetings in text format than it is through YouTube.
Yes.
Another reason why we should relook at our consent agenda.
Okay.
Glad
So
I'm
this-
back, right?
Always glad. This brings us up to our first public question comment period. Thank you, Ms. Darling. Fell right back into that role. Do we have a lot of people signed up?
Across the room, of course.
Thank you. Okay. So for items that are currently on the agenda, Stephen Scare. We'll start your 3 minutes now.
Good evening, Stephen Scare, 111 East Hobart Street. Please embrace the letter and the spirit of the Parental Bill of Rights that you're going to be talking about this evening, especially the right to inquire of the school personnel and promptly receive accurate, truthful, and complete disclosure regarding any and all matters related to their minor child. If a 13-year-old girl identifies as a boy and insists that teachers and peers use male pronouns, she isn't being her authentic self. Subjectively, the girl can't be a boy. I defy any expert who disagrees with me to provide me a definition of boy that isn't rooted in stereotypes or circular reasoning. If a girl claims to be a boy, her parents need to know so that they can intervene before she goes on to harm herself with chest binders, testosterone, and a cosmetic mastectomy. Detransitioner Katie Kloblenz, who until recently worked and worshiped here in Nashua, said parents need to ask their confused daughters what they despise about womanhood and what they covet about being a man. These girls deserve a chance to explore and be treated for the neurodivergence, trauma, and mental health issues at the root of their distress. Parents also need to find out who's indoctrinating their children with transgenderism, a religion that teaches that a male gender identity can possess a girl's body. And this identity, not her body, is her authentic self. We know that Nashua schools have taught this ideology through hallway displays, handouts like the genderbread person, ubiquitous pride flags, and I suspect in safe spaces. Based on what they learn, these parents of vulnerable children might want to explore their educational options. Social transition isn't a neutral act. It's the first step in a medical protocol that includes chemicals and surgeries if the patient desires. The Parents' Bill of Rights, I hope, will help parents guide their children to live long and healthy lives with their bodies intact. Thank you.
Do you have the list? Oh, Beth Scare now.
Beth Scare, 111 East Hobart Street. I'm here speaking on behalf of parents of students at in the Nashua School District who are asking for your support for the proposed Parental Bill of Rights policy. I've spoken to many parents who are anguished over their children assuming a transgender identity, not because they want to enforce gender conformity on their child, but because they don't want to see their child go on a pathway to lifelong medicalization, including puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and having healthy body parts amputated. Lying to these parents about their children's gender identity creates a divide between parent and child, and that divide can be extremely destructive to the child's well-being. The school staff who are lying to the parents won't be there in 5, 10, or 20 years when the child, now an adult, is dealing with the painful effects of these medical treatments, such as vaginal and uterine atrophy for women necessitating a hysterectomy. Also, it is ridiculous that everyone in the school knows this child's gender identity, so it is hardly a secret. And yet the parents have to be kept in the dark as if they were the least trustworthy people involved in this child's life. In response to the threats that we've heard from members of this board that children will die by suicide if school staff don't hide their gender identity from their parents, I will read from the piece Reckless and Irresponsible by Lyra Sapir, published in the City Journal. By now, it is well known that members of Gen Z and young liberal females in particular are experiencing one of the worst mental health crises on record. The crisis is strongly linked with smartphone and social media use and the social isolation and lack of psychological resilience they breed. The extraordinarily high rate of comorbid mental health conditions among teenagers who reject their bodies and their sex must be understood against this background. Given the high rates of pre-existing psychiatric comorbidities among referred adolescents, and the fact that these comorbid conditions are independently linked to suicidality, the transition or suicide narrative is very likely a confusion of correlation and causation. It is more likely that teenagers with suicidal tendencies are gravitating towards a trans identity, perhaps believing that the fresh start promised by gender transition will solve their problems, than that some kids are born transgender and are suicidal as a result of being an embattled minority. Read the rest of this piece, which I'll email to you, to learn why pushing this myth that kids will die if they aren't affirmed in their gender identity is so destructive. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, well, this brings us up to our superintendent's comments. So I will turn the floor over to Dr. Andrade.
Thank you very much. Just a couple of quick updates around our enrollment data and our master facilities plan updates. So the district's enrollment numbers as of September 26, unofficial numbers are approximately 9,700 students. Over the next month, the staff will continue refining the data to establish our official October 1 enrollment count. As part of the master facilities plan, we also reviewed the projected enrollment trends, which were consistent with previous studies. We anticipate a notable decline in enrollment over the next decade. The master facility plan is still on schedule, and we should receive their full report in early of 2026. The Think Fast program at the high schools, Southern New Hampshire Health and the New Hampshire Department of Transportation have partnered with the Nashua high schools to address the increase in state's teen driving accidents. More than 1,600 high school students will participate in the Think Fast program, which is an interactive experience designed to provide life-saving roadway safety education training to these students, and that will happen on Wednesday or Thursday of this upcoming week at both high schools. We continue to expand our partnership with Fidelity Investments. This summer, nearly 100 Fidelity employees volunteered to work at Mount Pleasant Playground area. On Friday, Principal Richard, Director of Guidance Marcotte, and I attended Fidelity's New Hampshire launch of the Investment in Me program. Nashua was one of only a handful of districts invited to participate in this important statewide initiative. This program will provide full scholarships for up to 25 students across New Hampshire who attend in-state colleges. School rededication ceremonies. I want to thank the JSSBC, the BOE, and BOA for all their investments in our Birch Hill Elementary and Maine Dunstable Elementary schools over the last couple of years. On Tuesday, October 7th, we'll be rededicating the school at 2 p.m. And on Thursday, October 9th at 2 p.m., we'll be rededicating Maine Dunstable. Please feel free to join us. And this last week marked a spirited Battle the Bridge series. It was a very exciting finish. I was grateful to see many of you there during the events. In the exciting finish, North edged South by a score of 9-8. So it was a great week, and I must commend our student athletes, the students who attended most of the games, but there was a lot of school spirit throughout the community this past week, and a great way to kick off the school year. So thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, I was at the football game watching Oliver play, but my Fitbit kept telling me I was exercising too hard because that game just, I was like, oh my God, they might do it. And then they wouldn't do it, and then they would. It was amazing, though. I was on the edge of my seat, but I love those games. I love Battle of the Bridge. All those kids work so hard. We'll start over here with Miss Darling. Response to superintendent's comments.
No comment.
Okay, Miss Raymond?
Thank you. Thank you for the update. I got an email because I have teenagers about the Think Fast program, and I am really excited to see that coming. There's been a 400% increase in teen driver deaths in New Hampshire in the last couple of years, so that's very scary. But I was also excited because we have a policy that says that you have to give parents a chance to opt out of these things, and so that was fully followed by sending an email, letting us know, and then giving the parents a chance to opt out, which I hope nobody does because this is really important.
Ms. Prin?
Thank you for the updates, and I know personally, I went for a walk in Mine Falls last week and saw them working on the tennis courts at Nashua South, which made me very happy.
Mr. Johnson?
No comment.
Ms. Gilio?
Thanks for all the good news.
Ms. Daniels, Ms. Lopez?
I just wanted to say thank you to Dr. Andre for all the good news on the athletes. So I am thankful for the Battle of the Bridge as well. I did not make it, but I'm very happy that we're continuing that path. Thank you.
Ms. Lampier?
No comment today, thank you.
Okay, and we have no students tonight, so nobody needs to battle over who's going first. The original Battle of the Bridge right here. I'm laughing a little too hard at that. Okay, we have no update on budget, obviously. Committee on Finance and Operations, I will hand the floor over to Ms. Lampier.
Okay, we have only one thing tonight. It's a motion to approve the fiscal year 26 August transfer report.
Second that motion.
Thank you.
Any comments or questions on the transfer report? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the August transfer report, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And then you guys have some policies that you're reviewing, but it's just the first reading, so take a peek at those. Come back with your thoughts. And you guys are gonna read them again in F&O or here?
So I can answer that. So we sent 2 policies regarding contract signing and purchasing procedures to finance because finance understands those things better than the policy committee. But the process for approving them is the same. They came right to the full board for a first reading tonight. So if the community has questions or comments, if they need to be redrafted, they'll go back to finance based on whatever feedback we get tonight. And if they do not, they'll be back at our next meeting for final approval.
Okay. Ms. Livyer's like, okay.
Right?
Yes, that sounds great. I'm just looking to see if they were on the agenda, and since they're first reading, they're not, so I was a little confused, but I remember those policies now.
How could you forget?
So you guys will dive into them more deeply at the F&O meeting.
Yeah, I think we had some healthy conversation at the last Finance and Operations meeting, specifically around the policies. I think actually, Ms. Bishop, you had a follow-up question just based off of the overall increase.
Yep.
Just to, I guess, explain that slightly more. So the current policy says that anything $10,000 and over does need board approval. So we are requesting or making the recommendation based off of other school districts in the area and just based off of inflation that we go ahead and actually change that to a $25,000 limit and over. There is kind of, I'll call it a segregation of duties in the policy that once a year, anything over $10,000 does get shared with finance and operations. So I think you had asked, like, it is an increase. But I feel confident from an audit perspective that there's another level of check there.
Okay.
So happy to answer any questions there might be about the policies too.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. So we'll come back to that next time. I will hand the floor over to Ms. Raymond for the Committee on Policy.
Thank you. So we've been working our way through a significant number of policy updates that need to happen because of either new state laws or updates to the Ed 306s, which are the portion of the law that covers the minimum standards for education. And so that's what we have here tonight. We have the Parental Bill of Rights, which was signed into law, and so we are required to have this policy. If anybody has questions about what's new versus what was already in state law, I'm happy to answer it. We went over it in excruciating detail at the policy committee. IKB homework is a newly required policy by law. I have had a request that we send that one to curriculum. Which probably maybe I should have thought of beforehand, but I didn't. Just like we sent the others to policy, this way curriculum can dive in and make sure that it makes sense for Nashua. And I'm happy to attend a curriculum meeting while they do that. Does anyone have any objections?
No, I'll let you guys coordinate.
Okay, so I would not want that one to come back for a second reading until it has gone through a curriculum committee to discuss it and
It's taking a detour.
a detour. Okay.
The next curriculum meeting is on Monday, October 20th.
Monday, 10, 20. Okay. Sorry, I have to write it down so I can go. Okay. And then, okay. And then we have 3 policies that were updated with the 306s. That's IMH, physical health, student physical health needs, and supervision of students. And if anybody needs anything, let us know. Otherwise, we'll vote on them next week, or next 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have.
Okay. Any updates from CNE, Ms. Pren?
Mostly that we're gonna meet on the 20th.
Okay.
Meet on the 20th.
Review the
talk about
homework
homework.
policy. Sounds riveting.
Oh, I have a lot of homework feelings, so,
Yeah.
as a parent and as a teacher, so it'll be interesting.
Are you pro homework?
I used to be like, we had to have homework, but now, no. The research says homework is no bueno, so.
I don't want to work at home either.
I don't like it as a parent either.
My day ends. No, my day never ends. You guys know me. There's no stopping. Okay, this brings us up to Committee on Human Resources. I will hand the floor over to Ms. Gilio.
Okay, I'm making a recommendation to suspend the rules to consider items from the HR meeting held earlier this evening.
Second.
All those in favor of suspending the rules, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Motion passes. Just to let you know, because this is on the agenda, you actually have the 2 days' notice if you want to review it beforehand. There's so all sorts of extra stuff, but just in case you want to read up on it, you don't have to do it every time. Yeah.
Okay, at the meeting earlier tonight, we recommended to approve the personnel recommendations dated September 29th, 2025. So I'm making a motion that we as a board do that.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. All those in, any comments or questions in regards to the personnel recommendations? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the personnel recommendations of September 29th, 2025, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We have no unfinished business, and this brings us up to our new business, so I will hand the floor over to Dr. Andrade.
Thank you. So the first, I'm looking for a recommendation to accept the Robotics Education Development Program grant awarded to Charlotte Avenue School in the amount of $9,172 for the 25-26 school year.
I'll make the motion. I have questions.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Oh, that was a three-way tie. Well, Ms. Lampier has the pen, so she can pick who got second.
Oh, me, of course. No, I heard Rob, so.
Okay. Okay, what are your questions, Ms. Raymond?
My question is about, for both this one and the McCarthy grant, is about how this will be integrated into the school day. So is this an extracurricular program that's being adopted, or is it something that's going to be integrated within science curriculum?
So we're looking, we have a little flexibility with the grant, so we are looking to incorporate it as much as possible. But some of the allowable expenses are for robotics kits, parts and tools, registration fees at extra curricular activities, or a stipend for a coach if they want to do an after-school program, T-shirts and uniforms. So we're hoping to incorporate it as much as possible, but it is really to support an after-school program, or if they were going to start a robotics team.
Any other comments or questions?
I had a question. So I'm so thankful that these grants were awarded to these two schools, because robotics is very important. You know, it follows where the district is going for in STEM and everything. I was wondering about the fairness across the schools, how we were saying that there, you know, is already so many inequities. Is there anything that we're going to do to make sure that it's fair across the schools?
Yep, so these are competitive grants, so we'll still encourage other schools to apply in future years, but also use this as kind of seed money to see how successful it is in order to grow it. So think of it as a pilot program, and then as it continues to grow, we'll invest more in the operating budget.
Could I just add, Dr. Andre, that I believe Dr. Crisp is.
I had no idea where it was coming from. I'm over here going,
I'm also losing my voice, so I apologize. But Dr. Crisp, I believe, is running a program this year as well through their 21st Century program. So Ms. Archer's been working on that, so yeah.
Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, when I was on the PTO at New Searles, we had a robotics that we funded through the PTO. So there are other ways to fund the robotics programs at different schools.
Thank you so much for the information. I just wanted to make sure that there was some equity amongst the schools in this, because it is very important, and the students going forward, it's going to be very important for them. So thank you so very much for all the answers and everyone that weighed in.
Thank you. Oh, Ms. Raymond, sorry.
Sorry, thank you. That actually makes me think of another one. So this is a one school year grant. And I know that these kits typically, I mean, they can kind of get beat up. They're not great for year over year over year. So what becomes the responsibility of the Department of Education versus our district for next year? Like, say this is super popular and successful and we want to do it again. Do we need to absorb those costs, or would we be looking for PTOs to take over, or boosters or something?
Yes to kind of all of the above.
Okay.
So I think there's an aspect on, I mean, some schools already run FIRST robotics through their PTOs, but I think it is a way to start incorporating of what's operating, what's PTOs, and what are other funding sources like NEF or so. But I think at the end of the day, if we see the return on the investment, again, what's the district's investment into growing these programs.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the grant to Charlotte Ave for the amount of $9,172 for the 2025 school year for the Robotics Education Development Program, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And similar to the conversation we just had, looking for a recommendation to accept the Robotics Education Development Program awarded to the Brian S. McCarthy Middle School in the amount of $9,912 for the 25-26 school year.
Second.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Ms. Lamb. Do you want a second, Ms. Lopez? Okay. Any other comments or questions in regards to this one? The same thing as before. Okay, so all those in favor of accepting the $9,912 grant for the Brian S. McCarthy Middle School for the Robotics Education Development Program, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
So I'm going to hand the floor over to Mr. Gray to talk about MS 26 proposed budget and the MS 22 report as well.
Thank you, Dr. Andrade. So the MS 26C, we actually signed at the last Board of Education meeting. I'm requesting that we actually sign a new update. There was an error on the city side from a reporting standpoint, and you'll notice that the numbers in the top sections of the 1100 is actually more accurate and in line to what it was in prior years. And it basically was a coding transition shift from the administration numbers, and it had to be moved up to the instructional program. So I am proposing a new MS 26 that needs to be signed, please. Again, just for information, this is an ending of fiscal year 25 in what we're expecting ending of fiscal year 26. So they're annual state reports we do every year. The next one, and they're both in front of you tonight, the MS 22 is more of a consolidated report that itemizes everything related to fiscal year 26. This is our budget numbers that we have proposed that does need to be signed. So it is broken out based off of level. And again, as I mentioned at the last meeting, these are annual reports that we have to submit every single year to the Department of Education.
You don't need a motion, right?
No, I don't.
Okay. Any
I think
comment?
if we can just send the reports either around or we can sign them both afterwards at the end of the meeting, that would be appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Andrade?
Scoot down there.
Do you want me to shut the light? Sorry, I should have done it earlier. I just,
So similar to policy, I wanted to introduce where we are in the draft of our strategic improvement plan for the next, from 2025 to 2030. You should have this in your packet as well. So tonight, I just want to go through it pretty quickly and thank everybody who was involved and really look for for initial input. We'll have a second reading at the end of the month for a final vote, but really like a first policy or first reading of policy tonight. Really looking at it, I'll go through it fairly quickly, and then at the end of the month, spend a little more time before a final vote. So I'm going to start going through this document. I really want to thank the School Improvement Planning Committee, who met about 6 times over the summer, which was really hard to meet over the summer. And then we also met virtually this past week to see where we are in the draft. But there was a lot of great conversation coming forward throughout these meetings, especially around the pride in the district and then around our mission and vision. So just what we're looking at is the strategic plan was over 3 phases. The first phase was building the foundation, so there was some surveys, focus groups that took place. And then over the summer, we were building the plan. We had about 6, like I said, 6 meetings as a committee, a 7th virtually to kind of review it. And then phase 3 will be once we actually write the plan. The important aspect of it will be to implement the plan. On this page, you'll see the mission and statement, and for those 30 people who were involved in the work, you know that we spent a lot of time on the mission statement, core values, and vision statement. I think that probably entailed about 3 of our meetings, just really getting into our core beliefs. So I think it's really important. Again, one thing that we did stress is, although our plans might fluctuate, our core values and our mission statement really will not change over the next 5 years. Like, our core beliefs and core values are our core values. Here you'll see positive, respectful, inquisitive, determined, and engaged as part of our core values. And that's the work that's coming out of our high schools in the Portrait of a Learner. Pride, you'll see that flagged in a number of places. So we thought it was really important to incorporate our Portrait of the Learner work into our core values. And then our vision statement, which reads, "The Nashua School District is a community where curiosity drives education and every learner is valued." So there was a couple key words there, and I'll be interested with this board on any key words pop out to you.
Do you want this to be interactive?
Yeah, why not?
Sure you want us to do it?
Yeah, I'll shut it down pretty quickly.
I'm still picturing the next logo for our school with pride on it, just so you know. Working on it.
I like how it says every learner is valued. That's really important.
And learner was a key word.
Yeah.
So we wanted to make sure that everyone was a learner, just not students.
Yeah, nice.
And then the other key word was really about curiosity.
Curiosity, yeah.
So, and that was probably about 4 hours worth of discussion. So,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I knew the answer to that question.
So it was. So I thought it was really important. But we spent a lot of time on our vision statement, again, core values, and our mission. And I'm going to kind of go over. We have 4 focus areas. Our first focus area is around climate, culture, and community engagement. Again, these are in your packet. I know it's a little difficult to read, but we thought about our first initiative really around establishing effective, responsive communication and transparency. And you can see some of the measures of success, action steps, and some measures of success around audits, participation, developing a communication plan, using feedback tools. What we didn't include here, kind of purposely, was who was the person in charge of the initiative, and also the timeline. So we had a conversation with our subgroup, and not identifying it's the assistant superintendent in charge or the superintendent or a building principal, because we feel like it's a community effort. We know that the action has to take place and there might be a subgroup, but sometimes labeling it's Dr. Scarpatti's work sometimes relieves somebody from thinking that they have to do the work. So that was kind of purposeful. Dr. Scarpatti probably still has to do the work, but again, I think it's around the mindset and communication that we are one Nashua and we're in this together. Other key initiatives here was really cultivating a stewardship of available resources. One key thing is really to map our current partnerships around businesses, nonprofits, public agencies to identify gaps and opportunities. Again, developing district-wide partnerships, and really, establishing some advisory groups and some councils to provide that climate, culture, and community engagement. We're also looking to provide equity access and provide equity, access, and diverse learner support. We also had a conversation around this, around language choices, and we thought, even with all the terminology going on, we felt very strongly that we need to support our students and do what's right by Nashua. So kind of moving above the terminology, just really looking at what's good for Nashua and taking a firm stand. And the last area around here was strengthen school culture and climate to support belonging and engagement. Again, really the importance of expanding opportunities, especially for middle school and high school students, to have an active school council and be participating to get more student voice. The second area is around teaching and learning and leading. Again, promoting academic rigor and student growth. The second area is providing professional development for all staff, making sure that we offer high quality professional learning for our staff, providing equity, access, and and diverse learner support. We know that we have a changing population, especially with special education and ELL, making sure that we're reimagining and rebuilding some of the educational opportunities for our students. And then in focus area 3 is operational efficiency and future planning, looking at workforce development, how to recruit and retain high quality staff, investigating, consolidating, and acquiring technology, making sure that we do a thorough technology audit. We're using technology to enhance learning, streamlining operations, and possibly consolidating to make it more efficient. And then the last aspect here is, this one we're after, ensuring the budget planning is transparent, sustainable, and aligned to the district's strategic goals, addressing short and long-term constraints. You can see one aspect, and we actually just had a conversation last week with the city on developing multi-year budget forecasts, so that every March we're not saying where we're going in, especially now that we settled a number of contracts. We can project out over the next few years of anticipated cost of the district. Making sure that we're auditing our systems for our students, and then strengthen special education infrastructure will be key in the next couple of years. And then the focus area 4 is really about innovate research and development, and making sure that Nashua is an attractive school for current and future families, and really here on how do we become an incubator for innovation. What's our research and design? Can we pilot in some new programs and really invest in some model programs? And this is really about rethinking and reimagining our schools. And then the last two, again, is about advancing inclusive, innovative, and high-impact teaching and leadership. And then, again, our embedded R&D, building our R&D capacity. Can we participate in 3 to 5 active research practices, that should say action research, practice partnerships, possibly with outside partners. So that's the draft of the strategic plan at a very high level. Again, over the next couple of weeks, if you want to review it, we'll bring it back in October for a final approval before it goes back to a publisher and it gets distributed. So any comments or reactions, things that we should concentrate on in the next couple weeks?
Ms. Raymond?
I'm really encouraged by some of the deliberate language choices, but also on the continued emphasis on meeting the needs of all of our students. So even though we have officially completed our DOJ agreement, I find it heartening that you have specifically called out a plan to continue to meet those needs as they continue to arise, so we don't end up back where we were.
Ms. Lampier?
I like that special education was also included quite a bit. And I like the idea of multi-year budget forecasts because when people ask me what we're going to do next year, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. So I think it'd probably be nice to have, be able to give answers to the larger community.
Ms. Prin?
I think I'm just looking for a clarification. I don't want to assume I know. Under building robust research, practice, partnerships, and R&D capacity, it mentions SEL. Are you talking about social emotional learning? Okay, I just wanted to clarify. Good.
And we also talked about, right now, there's still a lot of jargon in there, that we have a glossary of terms, or it's flesh out exactly what we mean by that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so all of us can understand it. Us non-educators. Just attention seekers. Ms. Gilio?
I just want to thank everyone that was involved. This was a lot of hard work, and I really, truly appreciate it. And going forward, I'm looking forward to the next 5 years.
Yeah, there was a lot of community engagement in this. I was quite surprised. People I wouldn't have expected, well, I would have expected you guys, but people that I wouldn't have expected were actually like really highly invested in figuring out what our strategic plan is, our community partners, and yeah, it was just, it was a robust team of diverse ideas who all came up to this same spot. It was a good funnel. No other comments or questions? Okay, so the plan is going back to the strategic planning committee with our input, and then make it look pretty, and then have it come back here.
Yes.
I know you
So
just
it'll
said that, but I just wanted to say it again.
So I'll have one more communication with our strategic plan subcommittee, and then the version will come back. It won't be the pretty version yet.
yeah.
So that'll go to the publisher.
Okay. I'm excited.
So I got just clarification question. So got this, read this. You want the answers to this tonight, or you want the answers to this next board meeting?
The next board meeting.
Thank you.
But if you have input, get it to Dr. Andre now, before we vote on it.
Before the next board meeting.
And preferably before it goes.
Tonight, or?
You know, if you want to
By
email me or give me comments, so then if I have to make any tweaks, at least I can incorporate those into the next presentation.
Yeah. And when's our next committee meeting?
We don't have a date.
We don't have a date? Okay. I just want to make sure your comments get back to the committee, because the committee is the one doing the hard work.
Is there an email address for that?
If you just,
Dr. Andre?
yeah.
I like to see people when they're talking.
Okay. Well, great job, guys. I'm proud of us. This brings us up to our liaison reports. We had some negotiations started.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Okay, and that's going well. Not like I don't want to know about negotiations, but you showed up. I showed up.
Yes, I've been at the negotiations for the American Sign Language interpreters and the family engagement coordinators, and it's been really educational. I learned a lot about what those two groups do for our schools, and
You don't need to go into the details because it's a
Yeah.
negotiation meeting.
yeah,
I just
and
wanted
that,
to know it happened.
they had pizza at the last meeting, but I had to leave
Nice.
early.
Well, that's
So
not
I think
fair.
things are going well.
And we have the next round of negotiations starting. I just got that email from Mr. Huffman. So looking forward to setting that up. We'll probably identify who will be on that negotiating committee for next January. Is that okay? Okay. And then JSSBC liaison report. Oh, you weren't there. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Sure. No, I mean, so we already know Birch Hill and Maine Dunstable are pretty much good to go. So we'll be seeing, we'll be seeing that in the next week. New Searles, come along great. I walk by it and stuff, so it's good to see how it's, it's really coming along nicely. And they're still able to work on it while the kids are there. So it's, they've been doing a good job with it. And I know they had to do some extra work with some ventilation on the roof, but that's all moving along well.
I thought those were cardboard boxes on the top of,
They look like cardboard boxes. They
What are
might
those things?
basically be cardboard boxes at this point.
right? Yeah, we're wrapping up all of our projects. Okay, I forgot, and it should have been under unfinished business, but was looking at the Public Meeting Minutes Committee. Was looking to reconfigure it, and I was, who's on that committee right now? I know Christina's chairing. Heather, you're on it?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. But who's interested in being on this committee, because we need to reconfigure it?
So this is the committee that is tasked with reviewing old non-public minutes to decide if they should be released.
Yes.
And it is something that is done at district office at a computer, I think, because
Yeah.
they're all scanned in. So it has to be people who have the ability to go in during the daytime when district office is open. Right?
Right. Ms. Lopez?
So this was originally one of the things that I had said that I wanted to do. I think that it will encourage me to learn more about what the former boards have done, the rules that have been passed, the policies. Like, it's going to be amazing to read all that stuff. So I would definitely be interested, and was on the committee previously.
Okay, good. Ms. Gilio?
I'll also help.
What?
I'll help also.
Okay.
Sorry.
Ms. Raymond?
Yeah, obviously.
And you, okay. So what I was gonna propose, because Neil's not here. Sorry, I'm just cracking myself up tonight. I was gonna nominate him as chair, and then have Shawanda and Heather, and then Ms. Gilio as an alternate. Is that okay?
I have a question about that. So Neil's term ends.
Yeah, but we have to
at the
do
end of the
all
month.
of this again in January. We have to redo all of the committees. And he's not chairing anything right now. So I asked him and he said that was fine.
Fine.
Okay. So the motion is, and I'm sorry it's not written down. The motion is to reform the non-public meeting minutes committee with Neil as chair, Shawanda and Heather as members, and Ms. Gilio as the alternate. Oh, I was just giving, I didn't want to rush you. I remember being clerk. I had to clerk for Heather, who spoke wicked fast. I respect the pause. Okay, any comments or questions?
Need a second?
Yes, thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the committee assignment, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Thank you for being flexible. This brings us up to our second public comment period. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Ms. Raymond. It's fine. There's no rush. We all like being here. Especially admin. Mr. Hoffman, come on down.
Gary Hoffman, 38 Perham Street. First thing, just something for your notes, our next negotiations session for the family engagement coordinator, sign language group is October 6th. It's good to see the strategic plans coming together. One thing that I would recommend is, I think this is the 5th strategic plan I've seen come through the district, and it's one thing to make a strategic plan, but be a great guide, but I think in the past we haven't used it as well as we could have. I remember back in 2014 when I was speaking with Mark Conrad, our former superintendent and ed council, and I mentioned the strategic plan. He said, you know, you're the first person to mention the strategic plan in 3 years. And, you know, it's not really what it's for. It's a lot of work to put these guides together. And I have to figure out a way to somehow disseminate that information. You know, it needs to be part of it somehow. So I would like to see those strategic plans. They can be good documents. Last thing, it was brought up a little bit about future enrollment being projected downwards, and I know that one of the tools that's used to come up with enrollments is to look at capture rates at local hospitals and whatnot. However, and I usually would say yes, past is prologue, and what happened in the past is likely to be similar trends we see in the future, but I do see, from looking at some of the data more recently, I think going forward we might see some newer trends. In the past, you didn't see students living so much in apartments per se. They didn't yield the same number of children that they used to, but I think as the future goes on, I think it's very possible you're going to see a lot more children living in those apartments just because the housing costs are so expensive. Purchasing a home, I mean, it's $400,000 seems to be just the entry homes these days. It's incredible how much the prices of housing is going up. So I don't know if those projections using the methods we used in the past are going to be as useful going forward. So that's all I'll say about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hoffman. Yeah, I hope last time we came up with a strategic plan, what happened like 2 months later? So here's to hoping we don't jinx it again. I'm talking about COVID in case anyone forgot. It's kind of a blur. Okay, so this brings us up to our board member comments. I will start over here again with Ms. Darling.
I've been kind of toying with this in my head for the last half an hour or so. There's a common issue that I see mostly up at the State House, but I got to see it here tonight. It's big in the political world, and it's where people get this idea in their head that a policy says or does not say something, instead of actually taking the time to read and understand the document that we work so hard on. There's no clause or statement anywhere in our parental rights policy that mentions anything about gender identity or teachers somehow outing students to parents. There's nothing in there that says a teacher is supposed to call home and say, oh, Bill wanted to be called Sue today, or Katie kissed a girl and I think she liked it. This is not a pro-gossip policy. This policy very clearly lays out what rights parents have and what information they can access from the district. It's well written. And I honestly, I'm grateful that I am on this board where I know every member of this board reads these policies and actually asks all those hard questions. And we have members of this board that truly take some of these issues to heart. But it is very disheartening to me when I hear community members seeming to think that it says something that it doesn't. And I really hope that our staff is like us and actually reads our policies when they get passed. And I'm grateful that we don't exist on a board that is pro-gossip. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Darling. Yeah, you never know what people are going to say in public comment, and you can't always just shut people down or they could sue you. So, Ms. Raymond?
Yeah, we don't shut people down in public comment because they have the right to make what they want for 3 minutes. That's how public comments work. We did go over at policy meeting really with a fine-tooth comb, and we compared the parental rights bill to prior updates from the New Hampshire Department of Education, technical advisories, all the way back into 2022, where 90% of the stuff was already in state law. So the other thing that Mr. Posca pointed out in that meeting was he talked about the extensive training that our new civil rights coordinator has been doing on not just the parental bill of rights, but all of the ancillary issues. So I feel really confident that if our staff have, if district staff have questions, that there are people in administration who have the answers to those questions. So I do hope people reach out. But I just wanted to make a plug. There's a lot going on in the community, and I really encourage people to take a look. There's the Apple Festival is this weekend. The Milford Pumpkin Festival is next weekend. The library is doing a bunch of free, wonderful family events. There's a Boo Bash at Greeley Park. There's all sorts of fun, inexpensive or free activities happening in Nashua over the next month. And I just really encourage our families to get out there and enjoy spending time with each other.
Okay, thank you.
This isn't in Nashua, but the New Hampshire Book Festival is next weekend in Concord.
Yes.
Nice.
I'm gonna go.
Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, I like what we've, that us as a board don't subscribe to gossip. We, and one of the things about this policy, this Bill of Rights, is that you should be talking to your child. If you think there's something going on with your kid, you should know about it because you should be having open dialogue with them. It shouldn't fall upon a teacher or a school administrator to let you know what's going on with your kid. You should know that because you're actively involved in your child's life. And if you talk to any parents of children who deal with these issues, the parents are all 100% supportive, no matter their own personal beliefs. They all support their children. So I would encourage every parent to stay in touch with their child, to always talk about whatever your child needs, and to be supportive of them in their decisions in their lives.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Good words. Ms. Gilio?
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I just want to say that I'm happy to have Ms. Darling with us tonight. You've been missed, and I'm glad that you're here tonight with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lopez?
So, I just want to say that I think as we go into planning the strategic improvement plan, and we talk so much about community, I want to just thank every member of our community, all of our stakeholders, all of the nonprofits that support this district, and looking forward to good things over the next couple of years. And I do agree with holding accountable. We spent a lot of time, other people have spent a lot of time on this strategic plan. I hope that we can walk it out.
Ms. Lampier?
So we hear a lot about the housing problem in Nashua, and we know about the kids that get McKinney-Vento services. I was driving home the other day, and there's a motel on Spitbrook Road, and I saw a school bus stop there. And they let off a little kid, and both of his parents were there at the end of the motel driveway waiting for him. So the housing problem, it really affects a lot of our kids, and I'm glad that we in Nashua make it a priority to be there for all of our kids.
Thank you, Ms. Lampier. I love how caring and compassionate we are on this board, and we have all of our students and their success in the forefront whenever we're making decisions, and we're also looking at offering compassionate and empathetic supports to the families who are who make up our wonderful district. I have no comments. Well, I guess that was a comment, and now I'm just going to keep talking because who's going to tell me to stop talking? I'm just kidding. I can hold myself accountable. Okay, so we have no non-public issues. So It's 7:20 and I am looking for
I
a,
motion to adjourn.
Second.
okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are out at 7:20. Have a great night, guys.